Hi, Stu here from Taunton Leisure. Today we're up here on Dartmoor. It's pretty wet and windy and we're going to pitch one of our favourite tents. This is the Hilleberg Anaris. It's been around for a couple of years now. It's Hilleberg's first attempt at doing a trekking pole tent. So it doesn't have any poles, you pitch it with your trekking poles instead. So let's get to it, we'll pitch it out and then we'll have a look at the features. So this is part of the Hilleberg Yellow Label collection, which means it's designed for 3-season usage. So everything apart from in the kind of depths of winter, it's not designed for snow use really. You might get away with it a couple of nights a year, but it's not a 4-season expedition tent like the red or black label tents. So we're going to find the 4 corners of this inner tent first and peg those out. Then we're going to loosely peg out this door, do the same on the back. It's not dissimilar from when you pitch a tarp, this tent. So we're going to kind of peg out the guy lines at a low tension as well, at the right angle. What you've got to do is make sure there's enough give in the tent to put the poles in a minute. Right, so now that's done, get our trekking poles. We've got a set of Lecky poles here, but they will work with any trekking pole you want really, as long as they go between 125 and 135 centimetres. If you've got poles which are shorter than that, you might be in a bit of trouble. So I'm going to set these to 130. There's a big sleeve here, so unlike some tents which you use the carbide end, with the Hilleberg Anaris you use the handle, that pops into that sleeve. And then, this is what I said about making sure you haven't got too much tension in the tent, so that's what I've done there. I had too much tension in it. We can just put that down. Part of the problem with being on Dartmoor, it's so wet here. Pegs rip out pretty easily. Do the back side. So, pretty windy day, and look how stable this is now. We'll do these 2 ridge guys as well. So there we have it pitched now, the Hilleberg Anaris. And then Sam will come over now and we'll get some close-up footage and we'll talk to you about the fabrics. So as part of the Yellow Label collection, it comes with the Curlon 1000 fabric, which is a 20 denier nylon, and it's triple silicone coated. What that means is it's silicone coated twice on the outside and once on the inside. This helps to increase not only the tear resistance, but the UV resistance and overall durability of the tent. So if you buy a Hilleberg tent, it's probably going to last you a lifetime if it's well looked after. The outer hard static head is 5,000 mil, which again is very high, much higher than the kind of standard you'd find in this type of lightweight backpacking tent. Weight-wise, this comes in at about 1.4 kilos packed without the trekking poles, so it's really lightweight for 2 people, and it's massive. There's lots and lots of space inside this tent for 2 people. 2 vestibules, entrance on each side of the tent. The floor on this one is a triple coated polyurethane nylon, and it's got a hydrostatic head of 15,000, which is really high for such a lightweight tent. Hilleberg really don't skimp on making sure their tents are durable. So a nice feature with the tent is with the poles being adjustable, you can essentially reduce or increase the airflow of the tent by reducing the height of the poles. If you have them on a lower setting, this is lower to the ground, so it makes the tent warmer and it stops it billowing as much. If you want more airflow, you can increase the height of the tent up to 135, and then you get more airflow in the tent. So that's a really nice feature of it. The other thing you can do with this tent is you can pitch it as a super lightweight tarp, so just the fly only, detach the inner, or you can have it as inner only, so pitch it just as the inner. If you're in kind of warm climates, want to keep the bugs out. You can also roll up one side of the tent, so you can disconnect the tent and roll up one side of it. Again, if you want to keep kind of wind off one side, but the other side aerated on a nice evening, you can do that. So it's kind of multiple ways of pitching this. You can also pitch it between trees, so you can string this up between trees rather than using poles. So you can use it inside in the woods and things instead. So it pitches in lots of different ways, and you haven't got to use walking poles. You can use sticks and logs you find in nature. So if you're in really bad, horrible windy conditions, you don't want any kind of stuff getting in there at all, what you can do is peg straight through this eyelet. So it's going to reduce the tension of the tent, but it's going to stop stuff coming in there. You're more likely to have the inner touching, but it's a good idea if it's like really horrendous conditions. So inside we get a 10 denier ripstop nylon mosquito mesh, and the yellow panels on this are heavily DWR treated, so any condensation is going to drip onto the inner and roll straight off. It's very unlikely you're going to get wet inside this tent. And there's plenty of room in here. So there's plenty of room for 2 people and kit, because you've got those 2 massive vestibules. You could easily get big trekking packs, 1 on each side, or 2 on one side and cook on the other. There's plenty of room in here for a lightweight camping for a couple, or a person and their dog, or one person if you want a load of room. It'd be a nice 1-person backpacking tent if you want loads of space, because it's so light you can take this without having to worry about having too much stuff with you. So that was a quick look at the Hilleberg Anaris tent. Really good option as a lightweight trekking tent in the UK if you use walking poles. If you don't use walking poles, you should use walking poles. Check out our video on why you should use walking poles.